probably had a chance to read a little bit about who we are.
A nonpartisan association of current active duty military, reserve, guard, veterans, peace officers, and firefighters who will fulfill the oath we swore, with the support of like-minded citizens who take an oath to stand with us, to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So help us God. Join us at oathkeepers.org.
And that's who we are. We also, we recruit for associate members as well. You do not have to be a former member or of police or military or fire or EMS. And we also give you an opportunity to take the oath of office as well. So, what we are is an educational foundation. We reach, teach, and inspire others who have taken the oath to honor their oath to the Constitution. It doesn't, you never swear an oath to a man or to a country or to a book, but to the Constitution to preserve, protect, and defend it with your life if need be. So that's what we do, is we inspire others, especially elected officials, that when we contact them about certain issues like this NDAA, that we expect them to follow their oath under Article 6, Clause 3 of the Constitution. They don't have a choice but to enforce it, and they cannot support an unconstitutional law, particularly after Marbury versus Madison 1805, where anything that is created that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void. There was a case where this Marbury was charged, but the crime was not within the purview of the Constitution, so that made it null and void immediately at that point. And that's still been in effect and it's never been repealed. Now, what we will not do, and I'm going to try to make this quick because I know you came here for the NDAA, and we're fighting alongside with PANDA, national organization, and ours is oathkeepers.org. And the 10 things that we won't do, as you can see, we will not obey orders to disarm the American people, nor to conduct warrantless searches of the American people, or to detain American citizens as unlawful enemy combatants, or to subject them to military tribunal, and you're going to be hearing a lot about that tonight. Thank you. We will not obey orders to impose martial law or state of emergency on a state. We will not obey orders to invade and subjugate any state that asserts its sovereignty. We will not blockade American cities, thus turning them into giant concentration camps, or forcing the American citizens into any form of detention camps under any pretext whatsoever. We will not assist or support the use of any foreign troops on U.S. soil against the American people to keep the peace or to maintain control. We won't do that. We will not obey orders to confiscate the property of the American people, including food and other essential supplies, nor infringe on the right of the people to free speech, to peaceful assembly, and to petition their government for redress of grievances, which we do all the time, but unfortunately they're not listened to. Now, this is what we're doing, and we ask anybody who is an activist or would like to be an activist of any sort to help out with what we're doing to win back our Constitution and our country, because it's time that we do that. People are starting to wake up, and they're waking up mad, and they're waking up confused. You know how when you're dead asleep, and all of a sudden a light comes on in your eyes, and you're like, what is going on? And until you get your bearings, right? That's basically the deer in the headlight look that we had when we first find out about these certain laws and executive orders that have been forced down our throat. So, how many of here has ever taken the oath to protect the Constitution? Raise your hand. Excellent. Thank you very much. What we're going to do at the end of this, I'm going to come back up here and bug you some more, and I'm going to offer an oath renewal ceremony for you, and we'll get to that later. And for those who want to take the oath for the very first time, we're going to let you do that. But I urge you not to take the oath unless you absolutely believe in it, and if you will follow it to the end with your life if need be. And in the pamphlet that you have, in the center section of it is the oath. If you'd like to read that ahead of time, if you have any objections to it, then it's up to you not to take the oath. And Thomas Jefferson said, "Where power to assume which has not been delegated, a nullification of the act is the rightful remedy." Kentucky Resolution 1798. And also James Madison said the same thing. And afterwards, we're going to have a question and answer situation. Is that kind of like that? Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Dan. Is that how the line is? Okay. Welcome, Dan Johnson.
All right, how you guys all doing tonight, Lane County?
Great.
Woo! I got a better response than Klamath. How you guys all doing tonight, Lane County? Yeah, all right. They don't tether me to a stand, they don't tether me to pretty much anything. I'm here from Bowling Green, Ohio. My name is Dan Johnson. I am the founder and national director of PANDA, People Against the NDAA. I never really thought I would ever get into politics. It was never something I really considered. Politics, to me, was poly being many and ticks being blood-sucking creatures. That's my interpretation of politics. And so, I made the mistake of utilizing StumbleUpon, which, as many of the younger people in the audience know, is the greatest procrastination tool in the history of the planet. And I had one of my interests as politics. I came across a video that day, it was about November 2011. Came across a video that day that said, 63 senators betrayed you. 63 senators betrayed you. What's that? I remember watching that video, I remember sitting down, I remember looking at the content, looking what happened in that video and seeing, you know what? This can't be happening. See, I was taught to believe that America was the land of the free and home of the brave. I was taught to grow up in a country where freedom and liberty were welcome. And I remember watching this and thinking, in America? In America, we can now detain individuals indefinitely? In America? I had the honor of being homeschooled, and during being homeschooled, the closest video game system we had to anything new was Super Nintendo. And so you play Super Mario World on it, but every once in a while it gets boring watching the pixels go up and down. And so we went to the library a lot. I ended up taking books about Nazi Germany, about the rise and fall of the Third Reich, about the rise and fall of Imperial Japan. And I remember taking the NDAA, Patriot Act, putting them next to each other, and then taking the Reichstag Fire Decree, otherwise known as the Decree for the Protection of the People in the State of the Third Reich, passed in 1933, and the sections of the Weimar Constitution that right eliminated are the exact same sections that Patriot Act and NDAA violated ours. I remember seeing that comparison and going, in America? In my country? And so, not really knowing what to do, I got on social media. I started Facebook and started Twitter and put up a small YouTube video on the NDAA. And did whatever I could. On January 29th, I started PANDA, People Against the NDAA, on Bowling Green State University in Bowling Green, Ohio. And we brought, on February 21st, 2012, we brought 21 college students to the Bowling Green City Council. We had the local TV station there. We had the newspaper had written 2 articles about us beforehand. We went to the council, and we spoke our piece, because I figured that my politicians, my elected officials elected by the people, are going to listen to us. And something so egregious, how could they dare enforce it? How could they even think about enforcing this? And the answer I got back, and I quote from my mayor, was, "These students should have taken Government 160. They don't know the inner workings of our national government, and it's up to us, in some respects, to educate them." Whew. Not the response we expect to get back from your mayor. And I remember kind of thinking about that. And so you have a choice at that point. You have a choice between A, you have a choice between B. A is, hey, I tried. I got some activism in. I did something I never thought I would do before. Because, you see all these banners all the time. Young people need to get involved. Young people need to get involved in politics. Young people need to do something. And then when you go out and do something, the first thing they say is, go back home. You came out, all we want you to do is come out and vote, and then go back home. We don't want you to actually get involved. But I was told to go out and do something. And so my choice could have been, I tried. I'm a full-time college student. Why would I do anything else? I tried. I did what I could. Or I could choose to have that person be the person who told me I couldn't, and be the reason I could. And I chose option B. Since then, PANDA has grown to the largest organization in the nation fighting the NDAA. We have 36 teams nationwide. We battled in 22 state legislatures this year alone. And we defeated an amendment in the United States Senate that would have made the NDAA even worse in November and December.
Yeah, bravo.
And working with people like Shane, working with people like my state team leaders around the country, I've just been getting good reports all week. We had a sitting congressman in Indiana just stand up with a PANDA sign and engage us on the NDAA. We had my a good friend Ed Lee is an oath keeper. He's my state team leader out in Pennsylvania. I got a call from him this morning and he said, yeah, we were protesting the NDAA today and I found out the mayor tried to have us arrested. He's a constable. And so I'm getting these reports all across the country. We're making some very serious progress. But today, I want to dive into how is the NDAA so dangerous? What got an 18-year-old kid, back then when I started PANDA, to get up and to dedicate everything he had, to dedicate his entire life, drop out of college to fight the NDAA? What was so bad about the NDAA that got an 18-year-old kid to do that? So we're going to go today over what is it? How is it bad? Does it apply to American citizens? Does the NDAA undermine your constitutional rights? And what can and should you do about it? Quick video, I'll give you a basis of what's going on here.
Earlier this week, the president signed the National Defense Authorization Act.
A radical new claim of presidential power.
It gives the military the power to indefinitely detain American citizens suspected, not convicted, of some sort of involvement or affiliation with terrorism.
A bill that allows U.S. citizens to be transported overseas to prisons and held there without charges filed. Senators John McCain and Carl Levin are looking to make America into a military state and give the president the power to be judge, jury, and executioner.
When President Obama signed the NDAA, sections of the bill were opposed by key members of his administration. Many civil liberties activists believe the law is unconstitutional.
What this bill does is it takes a wrecking ball to the United States Constitution.
It explicitly says that he has the authority to target American citizens because he believes they're bad people.
The government is claiming the power under the Afghanistan Authorization for Use of Military Force as a justification for entering American homes to grab people, indefinitely detain them, and not give them a charge in a trial.
Individual, no matter who they are, if they pose a threat to the security of the United States of America, should not be allowed to continue that threat.
And when they say, I want my lawyer, you tell them, shut up.
Your time to
Get a lawyer. You're an enemy combatant.
There may be a number of people who cannot be prosecuted for past crimes. In some cases because evidence may be tainted. But who nonetheless pose a threat to the security of the United States.
There is one thing and one thing only that is protecting American citizens, and that's our Constitution. Is a baseball stadium more important than liberty? Are liquor licenses more important than due process?
Please know what will come your way. Death, detention, prosecution.
It is time to stand.